What's up, beautiful people, and welcome to another Wellness Wednesday. If this is your first live with me, welcome. If this is not your first live, welcome back. And if you are catching the replay, shout out to you for getting this good old knowledge in you. So again, here at Wellness Wednesday, you already know I always bring in a special guest. I'm super excited about today's conversation. But before we jump into that, you already know how we get down in the first couple of minutes. I want you all to go ahead and shower some positive affirmations in the comments. Let me know some goals that you guys have accomplished in the comments. We need to start this thing off with some positivity, okay? So while you all are doing that, again, welcome, welcome, welcome. I just want to remind you, we know the holidays is coming up. Yeah, we have what, Thanksgiving coming up, we eating good, Christmas and all the good things. I just want us to remember when we are celebrating the holidays, whatever holiday that you decide to celebrate, remember about its true tradition. I think a lot of times we associate holidays with food, and sometimes it can get a little tricky. And sometimes we can get a little lax. We can get a little relaxed on our goals and all the things that we have been working so hard for for the full year. And then it's like, oh, Thanksgiving come, and now you eat and hog maw, pig feet, and all that good stuff. But I want us to remember the tradition, and remind ourselves that this is a time to gather with family and friends and fellowship and celebrate whatever that those certain things mean to you. But I don't want us to always associate holidays with food. Even with birthdays, I think sometimes we celebrate, depending on your age and your era or whatever. Sometimes we celebrate birthdays with like, oh, it's time to get turned. We're gonna be eating whatever we want to eat. We're gonna be drinking whatever we want to drink. Listen, we have to remember the tradition of why we are celebrating these things. So, for example, for a birthday, we're celebrating the fact that God has blessed us with another year of life. We're able to celebrate the fact that yet we have seen another day, another age, and it's another year of opportunity to continue to be the best version of ourselves. We don't have to always associate it with doing negative things like drinking too much or eating too much and indulging in things. So I think once we change that mindset of things and we kind of get that, in our inner mind of like, it doesn't always have to mean eat all you can eat. It can mean different things. Then I think it would just help guide us in a better direction as we plan for these events and plan to celebrate these events. So I just wanted to remind you of that because we see it every holiday season where people say they fall off, and rightfully so. I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it. But we can't fall off. I know it's like fair season too. So you go to the fair, you get your turkey legs, you get your funnel cake. I get it. But we cannot fall off. We still have to remain disciplined. And it's okay to little dib and dab every once in a while and allow yourself to have a good celebration, a treat meal, as people will call it. But we just can't overdo it. We can't forget our goals. This is really the time, in my personal opinion, when the discipline kicks in. Are you testing whether or not you actually truly have discipline, in my opinion? But just something to take with you. But again, I'm going to allow a few more moments, not too much longer, for you all to come in. I just want to say again, thank you too for tuning in. I try to go back and I read the comments, and you guys really, really, really enjoyed the topics that we have been, or I have been presenting you with, and my special guest that has been super knowledgeable, and I'm learning things just along with you all. So I'm super excited about that. But I'm going to give like maybe 20 more seconds, and I am super excited. I'm going to let our special guest introduce herself, let us know, who she is and what she does, and we're going to get right into it. So let me go ahead and give.
Hello, hello.
Hello, beautiful. How are you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
Listen, blessed and highly favored of the Lord.
Yes, claim it.
I am doing good. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Let the good people know who you are and what you do.
Okay, my name is Rolisia Siebert. I'm a licensed psychotherapist in Michigan and a life coach all over the world. And I love everything about mental health. I graduated from Oakland University in 2003 and learning about sociology. And I got my master's at Spring Arbor College in 2006. So, born in Detroit, raised in Detroit, and I rep my city. I love everything about it, and that's who I am.
I love it. What is it with Detroit? It's like the hand or something. Or Michigan, it's like
Michigan's the hand, but we the D. We the heartbeat.
okay, okay. I know it was something. I was like, it's something with the hand.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so before we get into today's questions that I have for you today, can you please just tell us a little bit about your E2M journey?
Oh
Uh,
yes.
yes, let us
Yes.
know how
So
that has been for you.
I'm gonna tie it all in. So in 2002, I was out to dinner with some girlfriends. Naima Way, she's an E2M also, and she told me about her losing like 9 pounds in like a little bit of time. And I was like, oh, tell me all about it. So and going into 2023, I signed up for it because it was after like we was like coming out of the pandemic, and I had gained like 40 pounds because we were all home. I had I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a business owner, and all these things were taking the front seat, and I was putting myself on the back seat. So I joined because I was ready to focus on me and realize being a mom does not just mean I have to sacrifice everything, but I can save myself. So
Wow.
I joined. I ended up losing like 32 pounds, and it has been. I have a whole my day ones, which I would shout them out. We have an accountability group,
I love it.
and we love on each other and we take care of each other when it comes to our fitness journey.
As you should, as you should. Shout out to the accountability group. I'm trying
Yes.
to listen. If you don't have an accountability group, or if you're looking for, go ahead and post in the group. You need to find your tribe, find your people.
Yes, I gotta just shout them out. Sophia, Joanna, Stephanie, Angelique, and Erica, Marcia, Sophia. Like y'all are my day ones.
I
Stephanie, my day
love
one.
it. I love it. All right, now make sure you got all them names because you know it's like,
Yes,
don't miss nobody. They know you
nobody.
know my name. I love it. All right, so we're talking about introduction to inner child work, and my
Yes.
first question for you today is: can you explain what inner child work is and why it's important for both our mental and physical health?
Yes, inner child work is basically understanding the parts of us that shows up in any situation. So let's just say we have a big event or something in our job and we're feeling inferior or we're feeling less than. We need to identify what part of me is showing up. And that's where inner child work comes in because I'm learning in the process, I teach that if I'm feeling some type of way, where's this coming from? Because as we know, children are not born with these thoughts or these negativities, automatic negative thoughts about themselves. Someone indoctrinated them with these thoughts. And it's not always the parents, it could be a teacher, it could be friends, it could be society. So, really understanding where is this coming from and what do I do with these thoughts and these feelings. So, that's basically inner child work where you are identifying what was missing maybe in your childhood.
Oh, thank you for that. Okay. So, with connecting that to the health and fitness, how does healing our inner child work impact our health and fitness journey?
Okay, so let's break that down. If you're, let's just say you are on your way to the gym and you got your whole outfit on, and then by the time you pull up, you already are like holding yourself back. Like when I get in there, everyone else is skinny. What's the point of doing this? I'm not losing weight. This is too hard. How do you think your workout's going to be?
Yeah.
It's gonna be trash. Or if you even get out the car, So this is where learning, understanding the language that we speak to ourselves. How do we speak to that inner child? And I'm a firm believer. If you would not say that to an actual child, do not say it to yourself. You know.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm taking it all in, baby. I'm taking it.
I'm like, it was frozen. I'm like,
I'm just listening. I'm listening
okay.
because I'm thinking because to your point, when you said like you're already going to the gym, you're already thinking all these negative things. And it's kind of what we talk about all the times. If you feed yourself negativity, then that's the product that you're going to produce. It's going to be negative. Everything that you do isn't going to be good enough. Everything that you say or somebody says to you, you're not going to be able to receive it because you already got this like wall of
Hmm.
whatever you want to call it, whether it's guilt, whether it's whatever, but it's,
Shame.
yeah, shame, and it's just one of those things. That's why even in the beginning of this live, right, I always tell people to share these positive affirmations because if you're speaking positivity, then therefore you will start to believe it and you start to live out what you're
Hmm.
speaking. But if everything is negative, baby, it don't
Yeah.
matter how good the sun is shining, you're not gonna see it because that cloud is just gonna cover everything over
Yeah.
you. And it's so I think what you're saying is so true.
And
Um,
even just to digress to also, I use positive affirmation. I think they're great. But sometimes if you can't get to the positive, let's get to the maybe. Like maybe I'm gonna have a good workout. Maybe I'm gonna get in there and kill it. Because sometimes it's hard to even think the positive. It's like life is life in. So I
yeah,
say if you can get to the maybe, you halfway there, baby girl. Like you're halfway there. Just take that and run with it.
I like that. I like that. And listen, so maybe I will make it to the gym the day after. But no, I like that. So, are there any direct correlations between unresolved childhood issues and how we treat our bodies?
Oh yes. Oh yes, because I feel like our parents, our caretakers, people, teachers, they teach us, they're basically our first like teachers of how to treat ourselves and value ourselves. So if we're seeking the validation or we're not receiving those things, it's really hard to have that belief system about yourself. That's
Mhm.
why it's really important if you are having negative or automatic negative thoughts, you need to find out whose voice is it. What narrative am I hearing? Is it my voice? Is it a parent's voice? Is it a partner's voice? Whose voice am I hearing? And then counterattack it with the truth. Because the truth is not that you're a bad person. The truth is not that you're negative or all those things, and just look for the evidence and proof that you are a good person. So yes, I do believe there's a correlation in those two things. You have to have a positive mindset if you're going to pour into your body. It doesn't work the other way.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. And you said you are a mother of many things that you are. What are some things that you do for your kids to kind of help them now in the stage so where when they do get older? I mean, granted, like you said, there's so many outside factors that can uh, affect how we see things, right? It may
Mhm.
not just be in the home. It could be social media. It could be a teacher.
Yes.
It could be your peers. But what are some things that you're doing in your home with your kids that you are, instilling in them now so they'll be able to use that in the future?
Oh yes, I have three kids. I have a 7-year-old boy, a 10-year-old girl in the middle, and a 14-year-old son. So I have like every stages in my life right now. Yes.
I love.
And what I've taught them since they were little bitty bitties is that you have a voice. See, so many children's voices taken very early in life, where it's like be seen and not heard, or you're saying a child's place. And that just doesn't work for, I would say, for my children. I can speak on my babies.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't work for them because I need to hear what you have to say. Even if I don't agree with it, even if
yeah.
I don't like it, even if you're telling me you don't like me, I want to be able to help you because at the end of the day, your brain's not fully developed until you're like 25. So if you're coming with something that's impulsive or something wrong, my brain's fully developed. I can help you, but you
Yeah.
have to build that trust. So my kids have a voice. My kids will say how they feel about stuff. We have open dialogue, open conversation. We do something called light a candle. We light a candle. And while that candle is lit, we can say whatever. We're not cursing, but we can say
Um,
whatever. Like, Mama, I didn't like the fact that you made me eat Brussels sprouts and you know I'd rather have green beans. We're having those conversations. It started when my husband and I were dating. We used to light the candle and say, hey, we're going to have a conversation. Let's talk about what's going on. So we just implement it to our kids. They have a space to talk.
I love that. I love that. So you hear that, parents? If you need ideas, go ahead and get them candles, light a
Yes.
candle. And I think that's really good though, to your point, because you're right. Depending on how you grew up, a lot of
That
times
part.
it's kind of, stay in your lane, who you talking to, and that's one thing I do admire about my parents. My mom, I can have that conversation with her. I can
Hmm.
I can talk to her and let her know how I feel, and of course, I plan on doing the same with my baby.
Yes.
Allowing her to be able to express herself because you're right. I think there's a way to do it now.
Yes.
Some of these kids do it too much, but that's another conversation. But I think it's so important because, to your point, you see it so much now. A lot of people are verbal about their childhood traumas and how it affects who they are today. Like you see it on social media all the time.
Hmm.
And I'm sure the parents, as you are raising your child, uh, the intentions are good, but I can see the difference between the parenting
Oh, yeah.
back then, just from, what I know, family, friends, versus what you see now. And I think to a certain extent, it's important. It is important to make sure that your child is heard in a respectful way.
Yes. And I tell myself all the time, I give my parents grace. They didn't have Google. Like right now, I can Google 50 different ways to talk to my 14-year-old son about basketball, whatever topic.
Yeah.
My parents had an encyclopedia. That's what they had. So I give them grace, but I can always try to do better. That's the most important thing, that every generation is doing better.
Yeah, I think that's something that we should all do, whether you have kids or not. Just give people grace. And one thing you said too about uh, I can't remember exactly what it is, but the point is, I know for me, I have this way of thinking of if somebody is talking to me and I don't agree with them, that doesn't make my point right. That doesn't make their point wrong. It just means that they have different perspectives.
Hmm.
And I think in life that would help too when it comes to you when you were saying, well, whose voice am I hearing? Just because your parent or your peer or your teacher said this to you, that doesn't necessarily mean it's true about who you are. But that's just their perspective, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to agree with it, but that's their perspective, and that's how I look at things in life. And I think I really do think that's why I have such a peaceful life in certain things, because there's so many different personalities that I encounter, whether it's family, friends, or even clients, and you may feel totally different view from what I feel. Baby, that don't mean that your view is just oh so right. That doesn't mean my view is oh so right. That just means you have your perspective and I have mine, and either we can agree on it or we can agree, disagree, and keep it moving.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
now you just start. Yeah, that's how I look at life.
Yeah, I live by I'm not the expert of your life. As a
Mhm.
mother, as a friend, I'm not the expert of your life. And that leaves me opportunity to learn more about you, you to
Yeah,
learn more about me. But if I go into a relationship thinking, well, I'm the expert or I know everything, is there room for me to be even learn anything about you? So
yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. And it just helps so you won't be so offended by certain things. You're like, okay, well, I know how that person moves. I don't agree with it, but I know it. So that's how they talk. But going right, so we talked about the introduction of inner child work. We talked about connection with health and fitness. Now we're going to talk about mind body correlation or
Yes.
connection. How does inner child work strengthen the mind body connection, and why is this connection vital for our overall well being?
I'm a firm believer that you have to notice what happens to your body when things are happening. A lot of times we learn to, as society, be dismissive sometimes of our feelings. Your feelings don't matter or it's not important. But we have to notice what's happened to our bodies. I have a prime example. A situation occurred where I had to make a phone call. Did not want to make the phone call. I was avoiding it. I'm doing everything but then. And I checked myself, like, where is this coming from? Where's this fear coming from? And I spoke to that space. Like I would speak to a child, like, girl, you got this. Like, no matter what, you will figure it out. If you make this phone call and it goes bad, guess what? God is still good and you're going to make it. And if it goes well, that's a great thing. So that mind body connection is so important, even with working out and health goals. You have to tell yourself, why am I feeling scared or nervous to try something new? Or why am I feeling, you know, anxious because this is something different than I've done before? Check that and really connect your mind to your body. So that's the first question I always ask. Notice what's happening to your body. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it in your body? And then go from there.
I love that. Thank you for that. And I have one more question for you. But before we get into that question, I just do want to take the time to just say thank you so much for allowing us to have your expertise in this subject. And just wanted to say thank you just so much for just sharing your knowledge. I think one thing I love about Wellness Wednesdays is there's so many different topics that we touch, and you just don't know what you don't know. So just
Exactly.
allowing us to have a conversation, especially about trauma, or just being able to understand why you're feeling what you're feeling, and then using those feelings to know, okay, well, now what do I need to do? Like, what resources do I need to incorporate for me to get over this? Because what I don't want us to do in life is to just feel all this negativity, feel
Hmm.
all this doubt, feel all this shame, feel all this guilt, and not know how to uh get past that, not knowing how to grow from that, not but if you don't have the resources or if you don't have the conversations, you may not even know, like, dang, that's what I'm feeling right now. I didn't
Hmm.
even think about the voice that I heard 10 years ago is why react the way I react today. You don't know until you
Mhm.
have conversations like this that make you think. So definitely, guys, you in the comments, you the viewers, if you know this is something that speaks to you and you're like, dang, maybe that is why I'm feeling a certain way, reach out. You
Yes.
know, let her know that you have questions. I'm sure, right? They can reach
Yeah.
out, right?
Yes, they can reach out. I am licensed in Michigan for therapy, but for life coaching and doing stuff like the inner child work, I can do that all over everywhere.
Yeah, like
Where I
reach
actually can help
out.
support you.
Reach out because we definitely need support and I don't want anybody to feel like they, they have to do this alone. But
Yes.
going into my last question, we're talking about common challenges here. What are the most common challenges people face in their health and fitness routines that might be tied to their inner child?
Ooh, that's a deep question. That is a deep question. I feel it goes back to just their unprocessed trauma. I mean, and the thing is, trauma does not have to always be the big, bold things that we see in the news. It could be something where you might have moved a lot, or your parent could have worked a lot because they were doing the best they could, and you were alone a lot. I just learned the terminology living room kids, which I prided myself that my kids are living room kids. They love to be in the living room with us. They love to be next to us. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a beautiful thing when your kids want to be around you. Now, my living room is always jacked up because of that. But it's a beautiful thing when your kids want to be around you and spend time with you. But some people don't have that option. They're forced to be in their room. So understanding the trauma and learning how to process it is the most important thing, no matter what goal or journey you're trying to start, whether it's fitness, mental, every goal that you have to process that trauma. And I think also going into parenthood, you need to reparent yourself. Even if you had the best parents, I think it's really important just to really speak to that space to make sure you can give the best to the next generation.
I love that. Well, thank you so much again. But before we get out of here, let the people know how they can stay connected with
Yes.
you, whether you have, Instagram, Facebook, website. Let us know, honey.
Yes, I am. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. I love doing TikToks. And love to talk, but ready to listen. I love to talk in case you haven't noticed. And I'm also my website is secretpsychotherapy at .com, and you can reach out to me and contact me either through this platform or different social media platforms as well.
I love it. So there you have it, guys. Definitely making sure that you are aware of all the things in our child and making sure that we are using our resources to be able to be the best version of ourselves. It's something we always preach, but we mean it.
Yes.
Like in order to have a successful and fulfilled life, you have to make sure you are also putting in the work to get there. So again, thank you so much. And
Thank
until
you.
next time, God bless.
Yes, that's bye.